This is a passage from the book The 50th Law, written by Robert Greene and 50 Cent. Look at a man like Reuben Hurricane Carter, a successful middleweight boxer who found himself arrested in 1966 at the height of his career and charged with a triple murder. The following year, he was convicted and sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms. Through it all, Carter vehemently maintained his innocence, and in 1986, he was finally exonerated of the crimes and set free. But in those 19 years, he had to endure one of the most brutal environments known to man, one designed to break down every last vestige of autonomy. Carter knew that he would be freed at some point. But on the day of his release, would he walk the streets with a spirit crushed by years in prison? Would he be the kind of former prisoner who keeps coming back into the system because he can no longer do anything for himself? He decided that he would defeat the system. He would use the years in prison to develop his self-reliance so that when he was freed, it would mean something. For this purpose, he devised the following strategy. He would act like a free man while surrounded by walls. He would not wear their uniform or carry an ID badge. He was an individual, not a number. He would not eat with the other prisoners, do the assigned tasks, or go to his parole hearings. He was placed in solitary confinement for these transgressions, but he was not afraid of the punishments, nor of being alone. He was afraid only of losing his dignity and sense of ownership. As a part of this strategy, he refused to have the usual entertainments in his cell: television, radio, pornographic magazines. He knew that he would grow dependent on these weak pleasures, and this would give the wardens something to take away from him. Also, such diversions were merely attempts to kill time. Instead, he became a voracious reader of books that would help toughen his mind. He wrote an autobiography that gained sympathy for his cause. He taught himself law, determined to get his conviction overturned by himself. He tutored other prisoners in the ideas that he had learned through this reading. In this way, he reclaimed the dead time of prison for his own purposes. When he was eventually freed, he refused to take civil action against the state. That would acknowledge that he had been in prison and needed compensation. He needed nothing. He was now a free man, with the essential skills to get power in the world. After prison, he became a successful advocate for prisoners' rights, and was awarded several honorary law degrees. Think of it this way. Dependency is a habit that is so easy to acquire. We live in a culture that offers you all kinds of crutches, experts to turn to, drugs to cure any psychological unease, mild pleasures to help pass or kill the time, jobs to keep you just above water. It's hard to resist. But once you give in, it's like a prison. You enter that you cannot ever leave. You continually look onward for help, and this severely limits your options and maneuverability. When the time comes, as it inevitably does, when you must take an important decision, you have nothing inside of yourself to depend on. Because it is too late. You must move in the opposite direction. You cannot get this requisite inner strength from books or a guru or pills of any kind. It can only come from you. It is a kind of exercise that you must practice on a daily basis, weaning yourself off from dependencies, listening to others' voices, and more to your own, cultivating new skills. As happened with Carter and 50, you will find that self-reliance becomes the habit that anything smacks of depending on others will horrify you.